If you've been with me for a while, then you probably know what is this tool. And first of all, thank you so much for being here on this channel. I really appreciate you. And second of all, Elisa, this is a bias tape maker. We all know this. So how the heck do you apply this to your holiday sewing tips and tricks? Well, dear sewing friends, it is the first snow day here in Smoky Mountains, Tennessee. If you look outside my window, you will see that also means that holiday season is just around the corner. And with all gift extravaganza going on, I thought that I would share with you a few tips and tricks that you can apply to your holiday season by using your beautiful mind, your amazing talented sewing skills, and your sewing machine, just putting it all together to make holidays go a lot easier. And a lot of these I haven't seen people use at all. Some of these here and there will pop up. So I've been using these for quite a few years, so I hope that you will really benefit from this video and put those newfound tips and tricks in your sewing toolbox, and you will use them year after year. I have a full list over here, so let's get started. Yes, it is a bias tape maker. However, it usually comes in a pack of 4 or 5. I don't use the biggest one up until holiday season or when I need to wrap a gift. This is the perfect tool to use on your fabric scraps to make custom-made ribbon. So first of all, you're using up your fabric scraps, those beautiful florals, holiday fabrics, plaids, checks, whatever you find. Second of all, you're not spending any money on your ribbon. And a lot of times, just like myself, when I receive a beautiful gift that is wrapped in the most beautiful manner, I usually save those materials and then I can reuse it for whatever else. And I know that a lot of my friends do the same. So you're prolonging the life of the fabric. I'm not saying that it's the most sustainable thing to do, but this bias tape maker is magic when it comes to making beautiful ribbons for gift wrapping, maybe for ornament making, maybe for tying some other Christmas decorations. So for the price of $8, if you've never had this before in your hand, I guarantee you it's worth the investment in your regular sewing life as well. Because if you're here in the United States, a regular pack of bias tape is like $2.99 or $1.99. Well, you can get a pack of 5, or I guess 5 of these for like $8 or so. So pretty much for the price of 3 packs of bias tape, you get a tool that will make any fabric into bias tape. And when I make ribbon out of my fabric scraps, I don't cut it on bias. There's no need for that. So just cut regular strips, pull it through, iron. If you want, you can stitch it through. It's probably, of course, going to take a little bit longer. I usually just iron it flat, and that way it becomes a beautiful holiday ribbon that everybody will just adore. If you love beautiful greeting cards for any holiday season and you get them from Hallmark or any other card place, you know better than me that it can really add up, especially if you have plenty of people to give love and share love with this holiday season. So here's a tip number 2 is you can create beautiful greeting cards, save a little bit of money, use your fabric scraps, and express your artistic and creative personality by creating one-of-a-kind greeting cards like that. And it doesn't have to be just fabric. So I've been doing this for forever. You can stitch any artwork to your cardstock. I do watercolors, I do acrylics and marble paper, and I've been stitching my designs to the cardstock and creating beautiful greeting cards for forever now. I usually try to use silky thread because it has that beautiful shine to it and adds to the overall design. And then here's another tip. You don't want to use a regular sewing machine needle. Well, it actually is a regular sewing machine needle, just like any other needle. Whatever you have at home will do. What I mean by that is designate that needle for your paper stitching needs, because paper will dull that needle really fast. So you definitely don't want to go and do like a project made out of silk after that, because it's probably going to leave a snag in it because the tip of the needle is going to be really rough. So I usually have a little box that says paper needles, and I use them for stitching greeting cards like that. Definitely consider that. I love these. I know these look a little bit plain, so you can actually bedazzle them with some more adornments. You can put some text on them. You can print it out, actually cut it out and glue it on top of that. If you love scrapbooking and if you have some leftover scrapbooking supplies, it can go on top as well. But overall, I feel that these are really beautiful. Might save you $1 or $2 or whatever is the currency where you live. Use up your fabric scraps and create beautiful one-of-a-kind greeting cards for this holiday season. We all know that monogrammed, personalized, embroidered everything has been in trend for like forever. And people love those kind of gifts because it shows that they have been created just for them, that you've spent some time and thought and really wanted to create something one of a kind. So if you don't have an embroidery machine, please do not hesitate. You can create beautiful, just a wonderful one-of-a-kind designs on your regular machine by combining different stitches together in one line, and then of course incorporating them in your design. So what you need for that is just a washable marker, or maybe heat erasable marker or pen, whichever you prefer, a little scrap of fabric to practice on, and of course your main project. So what you're going to do is you're going to outline your design, and then you're going to play around with different stitches that you can combine together to see which ones work the best, and then you're going to stitch in your design. And if you're using medium to heavyweight fabric, you don't even have to use interfacing because it is not an embroidery machine, it is not an embroidery stitch. The fabric will hold it up just fine, so you don't have to use any interfacing. You can, but you don't have to use any interfacing underneath, and I never have if you're using medium to heavyweight fabric. So I've done this on sleeves, on baby dresses, on pillows, and you can do it on so many different beautiful fabrics and personalize any gift that you want this holiday season. It is all about how we wrap gifts. So you can either make your own fabric gift bags, and I'll explain to you all about it in just a second. You can wrap your gifts in a piece of fabric, and I believe it's a Japanese art on doing so. And there's been quite a few videos on the internet on how to do that. And everything that I've been talking about in this video, I will link it in the info box below for you guys so that you don't have to worry and look anywhere else. And then the third thing that you can do is you can actually stitch little packaging out of paper for your gift. And I usually use just a regular brown craft paper, a big roll of that you can get at Home Depot for about $6 or $7, and it'll last you for like forever. I bought it like 2 years ago and I still have quite a bit to go. And if you stitch it with a beautiful zigzag with white thread or maybe silver thread or red thread, it adds just a beautiful little touch. And because it perforates the paper, it makes it really easy for the receiver of the gift to rip it open and get the gift out of there without, like, you know, digging for the gift and like trying to unwrap it. So when we talk about fabric gift bags, it is not necessarily the most cost-effective way to go, and it also takes a little bit of time to actually make them, but year over year it will have the return on the investment, so to speak. So these are reusable gift bags. I would suggest for you to personalize them, just like we spoke in the previous point about embroidering. Personalize them and use them year over year for a particular person. That could be a really nice Christmas tradition, because people would know, you know, that this gift bag is just for them, you know, sitting underneath a tree, and that would make the, you know, the excitement, the anticipation of what it is that it is there underneath the tree. So you can make these beautiful fabric gift bags. I have a tutorial on how to do so, and just like I mentioned, I will leave it in the info box below. If you have a huge fabric stash and you would absolutely love to use it for your holiday gifts and decorations and whatnot, but none of it is season appropriate, then a little packet of red dye or anything else would actually change your life. You can stamp, you can dye, you can do so many beautiful things with dye. You can transform any fabric, really. And to prove that, does this seem familiar? Well, this has been exactly the same fabric. I bought this very lightweight knit at Walmart many years ago, and then I decided to dye it. It was absolutely white, and then I decided to dye it, and the little petal pattern was already on there, and I did it in 2 different colors. Actually, I've really mixed a lot of colors in there. So one I turned into a scarf, and the other one I still have left over, and maybe I should make something out of it. But here's a very quick example how you you can transform fabric for whatever is the project that you're going for. I could have dyed it in red and green to suit, you know, holiday theme and holiday spirit, and so can you with so many different options. And you can even print on fabric if you want, just by using freezer paper and finding some tutorials on YouTube on how to do that. And again, I will link some of them below. I haven't tried that one yet, but definitely, you know, some people have done this before, so I'm pretty sure that it works, and you can create beautiful personalized gifts by using this technique. If you're just like me and you're more of a garment sewist, then you might be in the same boat. I actually had no idea that there is fabric glue, like an actual glue that is designated to glue two pieces of fabric together. Before that, you know, obviously, I knew that you can attach fabric to fabric by maybe using Gorilla Glue or Super Glue, sometimes Elmer's glue, but I had no idea that there is an actual really nice permanent fabric glue that dries clear and doesn't stiffen the fabric as much as Gorilla Glue or super glue would. So this is great when you're doing some other holiday crafts made out of fabric and you're on a time crunch and you need to adhere something to something without actually stitching it through your sewing machine. And that's how I did that deer on the fabric gift bag. I did that by attaching it with this fabric glue, and it also makes life a little bit easier because then you don't have to stitch through layers and layers of felt and fabric and whatever else. So another hack is to use permanent fabric glue in those situations when you're crafting with fabric and time is really limited. This would really come to the rescue. So I've been sewing for forever, and everybody in my family receives a sewing gift for holidays. And if you're like me, it can get pretty boring pretty fast. You know, everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, sewing gift again this holiday season. And you know, usually I try to be really creative with my gifts so that I don't get a reaction like that. But if you want to dabble into something new with using fabric and still kind of staying in the lane of a creative craft while using fabric and other sewing related supplies, then Mod Podge is super useful thing to make a decoupage with using your fabric scraps. And you can do that on the letters, on wreaths. You can make beautiful decoupage boxes. You can make beautiful decoupage tin boxes and tin cans and stuff like that. There's literally sky is the limit. And for that, you don't have to sew, but you're still staying in the lane of your preferred craft. And you're still using the same supply, so you really don't have to buy anything new. If I were you, then I would subscribe to this channel, and if this video brought you value and you've learned at least one new thing that you can do with your sewing machine and applying your beautiful sewing skills and talents, give this video a thumbs up. You see all the other tutorials on your screen right now, so definitely enjoy them. And until next time, happy sewing, sew up a storm. Guys, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Stay warm!